guys, welcome back to SourceFedNERD. You're watching Anime Club.
Get it? Anime Club?
I get it.
That wasn't on purpose.
I hate you. Anyway, welcome back to Anime Club, where we watch the first few episodes of an anime series and give you our first impressions. I'm Reina Scully.
I'm William Haynes.
And that was a terrible break we took for a whole week.
A whole week? Has it been that wrong?
I know! It's sad. I missed it.
I missed
what is
you.
This? Oh, am I supposed to?
Even though I saw you just as much.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Give
I have
him
lip
one,
gloss on.
give him one.
No, he smells really bad.
That's just right here. Give this part. Okay.
So we took a really quick break last week, but this week we watched Mushi-Shi.
Mushi-Shi.
And it was fan-freaking-tastic.
Fushigi.
Oh, it is Fushigi. Fushigi means bizarre, or strange, or mysterious.
Really?
Yeah, that was a real word you just used.
Wow, well, slap me over and call me Janice.
Ow! Oh.
Call me Janice.
Janice!
Thank you.
Mushi-Shi is really interesting. It's almost like a one-shot anthology every episode.
Yeah, every episode so far has been unrelated, except one time he said Koki, which is something he said in the earlier episode, but other than that, it's all unrelated.
Exactly. The only person, I guess Ginkgo is the only person that is consistent throughout all the series.
Which kind of upset me, because in the first episode, I was like, oh, I kind of like the guy in the first episode.
Oh.
And then I watched the second episode, and I was like, where is the guy? Is he coming later?
Nope.
And then I realized he's dead. But not really dead, as in he's just not in the show anymore, because that was his story was told.
Exactly.
And the rest of his life was boring.
Yeah, actually, what I didn't realize was what's on Crunchyroll right now is season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah, it doesn't say that, it doesn't denote it whatsoever, and it actually doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty easy to understand. I know the concept of Mushi is very bizarre and convoluted.
But I get it.
You get it, right?
That's called the willful suspension of disbelief.
Ooh.
I get it.
And the quick, monologue that goes on in the beginning of the episode kind of does explain what it is.
Yeah, it's like probably like 4 sentences worth, but it says, ooh, the Mushi are a strange phenomenon that are like aliens or bugs, you explained to me. Explain to them the thing you explained to me when we were watching it. Because
really
not all of us speak Japanese.
That's true. Japanese. I love Japanese. So Mushi means bug in Japanese. It also means to ignore. But the kanji that's used in the series is a very archaic version of the word bug, insects or whatever. And in the beginning of the episodes, she is explaining that these things called Mushi have they're deformed, or they're neither flora or fauna, as in they're not familiar to us, and we as humans tend to dislike and ignore things that are unfamiliar to us and we don't like it, which is interesting. It's a play on words, because Mushi means to ignore. Mushi is also the bug thing that they're trying to describe. But what they're really saying is that these Mushi are almost like spirits, and there are some people that can perceive them, some people that don't, and they're actually they're neither good nor bad, but they tend to disrupt human life and behavior.
I'm an American, so that concept doesn't make very much sense to me.
I actually think the first episode doesn't do a really great job of explaining the concept of Mushi. I thought that was kind of diving right into it, which makes sense. It's the second season.
Season 2, you
makes
dang
sense.
it.
I know. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. So the first episode is all about the koki that you talked about, which is shining sake for.
It's really cool if you had a drink. If
golden sake?
If some of those Mushis got into your drink, it would glow golden.
Ooh, and you could actually see when the kid's drinking it that like his neck glows too.
I don't remember that part.
It's very brief. It's very brief. He's taking a sip of it in the forest when he's bringing it back to his father, and it just like glows.
You kid, you ate a bug.
Ooh, you ate a mushi. And in the first episode, there is like a gathering of other Mushi-Shi who are all perceivers of the Mushi, or like spirits, or whatever you want to call it, deformed things. And they kind of have like a festival. I mean, it sounds really weird, but they have like a farmer's
trading.
Market.
They have a
farmer's market. You're right.
In the middle of the night, in the middle of the forest. Totally just like any other farmer's market.
That's cool. It's normal.
Normal, totally.
Yeah, in Japan only. The first episode revolves around the brewmaster's apprentice, whose father used to make amazing, shining, gleaming koki, which is shining sake. And
is that a thing already, or no?
It's not a real thing. It's a made-up word.
Cool.
Yeah. And the story that the father used to tell the apprentice kid is that he would get lost in a forest, and he smelled amazingly sweet sake or something, so he was attracted to it, and there was this farmer's market, essentially, of all
Daddy,
the
you're an alcoholic.
Oh, you shouldn't be walking and drinking and getting lost in the forest.
Yeah.
It's kind of a complex.
It's a normal thing in the Edo period. Everybody got lost in the forest and drink.
Yeah. Actually, that's interesting that you said Edo period. This supposedly takes place in a time period that is made up. It's between the Edo and Meiji period.
Yeah, because like how everybody else is dressed like they're from that time.
Yeah.
Yet he,
Ginkgo
Ginkgo is dressed like a normal dude.
Yeah.
So like, okay.
Very weird.
Are you a time traveler? Is that why you understand everything? Okay.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe Ginkgo's a dang time traveler.
So going back to the original story, so the father tasted the koki and he made, I guess, sake that resembles it very well, so it's like the best tasting sake ever, and the kid wanted to be like his father, so he went to a brewmaster and started making sake, trying to mimic the flavor of the...
That his father made?
Yeah, that his father made, and then supposedly he was able to make sake that was so amazing that it even tricked the Mushi into drinking it. Like, they thought it was koki. Yeah, Mushi-Shi and the Mushi too, because you know those weird like black things that like kind of...
Those are the weirdest ones in the whole thing so far.
Because I think they're weird because they seem the most sinister.
Yeah, they do seem the most sinister.
Like they trip you in the forest and they take your drinks.
And they take things
they take
from
your
you.
alcohol.
Yeah.
So after I watched the first episode, I was convinced that Mushi are not good things,
yeah,
not good
I was
spirits.
too.
Yeah,
but it seems
that's not the case.
I don't think any of the Mushi have done anything good.
Yeah.
They're, like especially in episode 3, maybe was it when they like
beneath the snow.
Yeah, when they possessed that boy and made him freezing cold. But the guy said that it doesn't usually kill people, but it did lead him to do nearly deadly things.
Yeah, it really did. In fact, they even specifically said in episode 3 that your senses are being deceived. You will get frostbite and lose your limbs if you don't start, warming up somehow.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, let's start explaining the third episode.
Okay, yeah. The third episode revolves around Ginkgo traveling again, and he finds this snowy village that I guess is snowing all the time, all year long.
Like Sapporo, maybe.
Yeah, but he noticed that there was a house that was covered in snow, and it turns out the reason it was covered in snow because a boy had Mushi in him, and apparently if you get this kind, it snows around you forever, until spring comes and when it's warmer.
Right.
But wherever you are, it snow falls, and like you lose all your senses, but you don't feel cold.
You don't feel cold.
Which is kind of like a superpower, but then not, because if you feel warm things, like even a person touching you, it feels like burning.
It hurts them, yeah. When Ginkgo first gets to the village, he stays at an inn and researches the snowflakes, and he draws them, and the girl comes in and she goes, "What are these?" And he explains that each of them have certain things that they do. They have specific characteristics. Like one of them turns into a snowball and chases you because it can't get that big, so it's trying to look for a tree to crash into so it would disperse, but it kind of, I guess it likes to play tricks. Maybe it's a trickster, it's a funny kind of thing. But it'll like chase you and crash into you. But there is a harmful version of it where it can crash into a tree and maybe even cause an avalanche.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't seem like they're trying to do terrible things that hurt people, but they end up doing it sometimes.
Right.
And he happens to be there every single time something terrible happens.
Yeah, actually, I think he's there because he's like not hunting them, he's like researching them. I think he's trying to cure people of their possession of the Mushi.
He's trying to teach people that are ignorant of the Mushi-Shi and help them. Because Ginkgo is a good guy that'll help you from the kooky and the Mushi-Shi.
Kooky. I actually really love Ginkgo's character.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
I love his voice.
He's a cool dude. He's weird looking, but he's a cool dude.
He is weird looking. It almost sounds like his voice is on a different register than everyone else's. Something about it flows differently.
It's
very cool. I liked that.
Does he have an accent or something?
No, he doesn't have an accent. It's not an accent. He just speaks very crisply. It's very weird. It's kind of hard to describe, but I really enjoy it.
Is he voiced by Kana Hanazawa?
Kana Hanazawa's evil male twin?
Yeah.
I wish. Most people don't know what Mushi are, so they think that maybe they think it's like a mental affliction or it's like a physical affliction, and they don't quite understand what it is that's wrong with them. And this is really interesting because it's a time period that doesn't exist between Edo and Meiji, so it's not like psychology existed back then. So if you were to become mentally ill, I'm sure they're
like, ooh, you got a demon in you.
Yeah, you're probably possessed by these little weird spirits.
And that's not just Japan, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, something's wrong with you, it's probably a demon.
Japan still believes it.
Well, that country, I gotta go.
We're archaic as fuck.
In only some ways.
Yeah. In other ways, it's all like panties and tentacles.
Huge Gundam figurine in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Really
Uber
cool.
futuristic Venarium.
Yeah.
Venarium monoliths. Oh. So what was your favorite episode or part that you've seen so far?
Well, I haven't gotten past it because we had to come out here and film it, but minutes ago I was watching episode 4 and it was intenser than the rest of the series. Like, I think we were talking about, I think we were talking about how this show is unlike any other anime we've ever watched because there's no big old boobies, there's no tentacle monsters, there's no
shots,
no screaming. Yeah, all of that stuff. And it's really interesting to see a show that's kind of like a regular show.
Yeah, in order to entice Will to watch it, I told him it was a lot like Ghibli.
It is.
Right? Even the hand-drawn aspect of it, even its like spiritual aspect of it felt very Ghibli to me.
Especially episode 2.
Episode 2? Really?
Yeah,
the one with the shells?
Yeah, and at the end when they all fly away.
Oh, you're right. That is very Ghibli. That backdrop of like, you know, panning out into the ocean and little spirits are flying away.
But it's not like Hayao Miyazaki Ghibli.
No.
It's like the other guy. Isao Takahata. Yes, that guy.
Facts. So your favorite episode is in episode 4?
Yeah.
Why?
I like it because it's all intense and it's dark and it's in invisibility. You gotta watch the episode. It's the most. It's the most out there episode of it so far.
It's true. I think episode 3 made me a little bit sad and solemn.
Oh, yeah.
But then episode 4 kind of scared me.
Yeah.
It was dark. The fact that the brother, like he seems like he has good intentions, but then of course you get that weird moment where he like touches his little brother on the head when he knows that that's like where all the bad powers come from. And he's like, it's okay, everything is gonna be okay.
Like, yeah, they did that on purpose.
And the little brother's like,
yeah.
oh.
Anybody that was like born with an eye on their hand probably might not be the best person, but whatever.
Probably unsafe.
Like, and not like an eye, like a hell hole, like a hell mouth on their hand.
It's like a dark bruise, honestly.
Yeah, so he might have something wrong with him.
But yeah, check out the episode in order to find out what happens.
I like it.
Yeah, we do too.
Mushi-Shi.
Mushi-Shi. So that's all we have for you this week on Mushi-Shi, which we loved and enjoyed so thoroughly. Next week, we're gonna get a little bit more action-y, and we're gonna do Fate Zero.
Yes! Never heard of it until today.
Really?
Yes.
A lot of people have recommended it.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I'm excited about it. So if you want to check out Fate Zero along with us, head on over to crunchyroll.com/SFNerd to get your free premium membership trial. Remember to take a video of yourself, upload it onto YouTube with the hashtag SFNFate0.
I'm on Crunchyroll more than most things in life.
And that's actually very true.
If I called my parents as much as I'm on Crunchyroll, we would have a very close relationship, and they tell me to stop calling them so much.
Remember to come back again next week like our friends.
So for this week, we are watching Mushi-Shi, and it is a series that was originally written and illustrated by Yuki Urishibara. Mushi-Shi is kind of an anime or a storyline where the story kind of evolves around these creatures or these beings called Mushi, which is the first word that I was talking about, which kind of translates into bug in Chinese. These beings often have what appear to be like superpowers or supernatural powers, and it implies that obviously besides humans and the dead, there are kind of, and animals, there are kind of these other realm of life forms in between life and death. I would have to say that the anime, it's very calm. When you first see it, I was reminded and I immediately got the Miyazaki film feeling because everything was so calm, everything is so green where they are, and the forests and all of that resemble very closely to how Miyazaki would present his scenery, and I really liked it for that reason also because I am an art nut.
I loved it. I watched the entire first season. There's 26 episodes in the first season, and the 17th episode of the second season just came out this week. I'm gonna start watching the second season once I sort of caught up on all the anime that sort of fell by the wayside while I just like devoured this anime. It's completely episodic. There is little to no overarching plot. Really the only sort of thing that's in all the episodes is the main character, Ginko, and the Mushi. Really, you can sort of just pick up any episode and watch whatever you want. Obviously, if you start at the beginning, you sort of get more of a progression, but I mean, it's not super important for plot development or character development. The main character is not like any other anime character in terms of like a main male protagonist. He's very sort of chill and relaxed, and he just sort of, I don't know, the way that I kept thinking of it in my head, and this is probably gonna sound really weird, is it sort of felt like Doctor Who meets Supernatural.
There's actually not a whole lot to say about it. There's only one character who you actually get to know to any degree. Well, you get some backstory on each of the people you meet in the episodes, but Ginkgo, I actually remember the main character's name for once, Ginkgo. It's basically exorcism by a different name, you know, or if you want to think of it as pest control, extermination. You could also think of it that way. I say there's not much to say about it because it's not really about the story. It's not particularly about the characters, though, you know, there are some heartfelt moments. You can become invested even in a short amount of time, but the real focus and the main draw of this series is the art, the visuals, and the animation. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is amazing. It's basically cinema quality. It is, you know, movie quality.
Reina, I'm pretty sure you got some Mushi-Shis in your body, and if you don't do it, your body's gonna turn to snow, and the sun's gonna set on you for 3 hours. Only way to get this Mushi-Shi out of your body is to drink that water from the earth.
Where?